Infamously Hated Metal Albums Part 8. Results May Vary is the fourth studio full-length album by the legendary Limp Bizkit and is often cited as the album that killed nu metal. But does it deserve the bad rep? Now, Limp Bizkit needs no real introduction. Love 'em or hate 'em, Fred Durst and the gang almost damn well took over the world in the late 90s, and it's hard not to see why. Limp Bizkit's combination of hip-hop grooves, angsty teenage aggression, and heavy syncopated riffing is a sound that the metal scene didn't know it needed back then. And the influx of nu metal did an absolute number on the wider metal scene, with many massive death and thrash bands attempting to follow suit, releasing mid-career albums that featured heavy influence from alternative rock and metal. Studio record-wise, from 97 to 2000, this band was fucking unstoppable, with their first three releases still being regarded as some of the best in the genre, and that isn't just because of the lovable/unlovable character that is Fred Durst. Another part of Limp Bizkit's success was the artsy Wes Borland, an individual that always wowed audiences with his really abstract costumes and honestly fantastic guitar playing. He was the polar opposite to Fred Durst, yet his instrumentation grounded the band in a way that stopped it from being so silly it's unlistenable, even if that is an opinion that metalheads today still have. But all good things must come to an end, and a large part of this was Woodstock 99, a festival that was already up in flames, but Limp Bizkit's performance only went and turned it into an uncontrollable wildfire. Global impressions of Limp Bizkit and nu metal as a whole had become incredibly damaged, and to take things a step further, Wes Borland then parted ways with the band. And finally, that brings us to Results May Vary, released in 2003. Results May Vary marks a drastic change in sound, a phrase we're all well too familiar with on this series. This album is nowhere near as fun, bouncy, or groovy as any of their albums, really. These songs still exist, but there's much more of an emphasis and a focus on the more intimate, softer acoustic ballads that this band occasionally cranks out. You have all heard Behind Blue Eyes, their famous cover of the Who song that actually went viral here on TikTok not long ago. But as well as this album is incredibly long, another characteristic that a lot of these albums in this series have. It sits at just over an hour length, and at that length, a lot of the songs do kind of become filler, and aren't exactly the most memorable of songs. Do I think personally this album deserves a bad rep? Not at all. I've kind of love this album. Results May Vary is probably the most emotionally rich album that this band has, and I find myself enjoying a lot of these softer acoustic songs a lot more than their traditional heavier stuff. Results May Vary is a straight tunnel into Fred Durst's thoughts, and it's the only record that really shows his feelings past Woodstock, with a lot of the lyricism really focusing on the hate that he received over the years. And more than anything, I just respect this album. I also have a lot of nostalgia for it because I listened to it quite a lot growing up. It's a different record for this band, and it's fucking long, but I think it deserves your time. And I definitely don't think it killed nu metal. Cold Lake by Celtic Frost is next, so if you want to see that, drop me a follow.